Giles, we've had news today that despite the run-up to Christmas and all the tinsel in the shops, UK shop prices are still falling as they have been for a couple of years. This must be a really tough time for the retailers.
Well, you would have thought so, wouldn't you? I mean, it was around April 2013 that these shops last saw a price rise. And you would have thought shopkeepers want price rises, but you have to distinguish between two sectors. For the last couple of years, it has been lousy being a food retailer. You don't want to be invested in Tesco's or Morrison over that time. But for the others, the ones selling clothes, be they cheap, like Primark or Sports Direct, or more expensive, like Next, or other goods like Dixon's Carphone, it's been pretty good. And the reason is consumers have responded to these price rises by increasing the amount they buy, which they haven't done in food, where you tend to decide what you're buying and leave it there.
So for the retailers themselves, an increase in volume is more than offsetting the lower prices, and they seem to be well set.
Yes, they are, and they're also able to distinguish themselves, so they're able to keep some kind of a pricing power. And also, crucially, the reason they've been seeing this increased buying volume is consumers have been richer without the retailers themselves paying them very much more. They've had their pay rise from OPEC, lowering the price of oil and lower commodity prices in general. And so that, unfortunately, might be about to end for them. It might be that the next pay rise they have to hand out will need to come from actual increased pay packets from retailers and so forth. And so what I'm not sure about is whether this is going to continue.
Well, this is the issue. What is the outlook for prices now? You would think that if the UK's economy is recovering, and the Chancellor George Osborne says it is, then perhaps there's scope for the retailers to be a little more aggressive on price, and maybe we might see an end to this long run of price deflation.
Well, you'd expect it so. After all, this isn't the sort of deflation that scares macroeconomists. If you look at surveys of inflation expectations, people still expect there to be inflation, which is one reason, again, that they've spent this windfall. They don't think it's going to continue to be deflation, and therefore it's worth holding back and buying later. But when price rises come back, interest rate rises are likely to come with them, and that's likely to hit disposable incomes too. So I'm not sure whether the retailers are incredibly well set right now, because they're nervous about being the first to raise their prices, and they might have to wait until they see the sort of the consumer giving them the signal.
Yes, never a good sign for a retailer when you've got to keep the prices low, keep cutting them to bring the punch through the door. Giles, thanks very much.
Thank you, Oliver.